Wow, hi guys, it's a beautiful day to talk about a very, very common occurrence, something that happens when the physical and the spiritual go into a kind of, it's a very difficult word to bring forward, so I'm going to choose another word, but chaos could be the word. I could probably use other words, but chaos is probably the word I'd be using today. This is going to be like a small workshop because I don't think I can just talk about it for 10 minutes. I think it really needs to be expanded. We really need to talk about all aspects, because if I don't get this right, I'm going to get a lot of abuse and a lot of awful messages. So I'm hoping to try and tackle this as best I can. My experience of this phenomena, this experience that many people go through, and it's a common experience, just to make sure you all understand that it's very common. I've probably dealt with hundreds of children from as little as I think 6 years old. In fact, I wrote about a story in one of my books because it was very profound, of a little boy who did this to himself, as well as, you know, lots of girls, children aged between 8, 12, 16, 18, 20, 30, up to, I'd say, probably in 40s, early 40s, 42, I think was the oldest client I had. So men and women, there's no separation between whether it's feminine and masculine at all, nothing to do with or that, you know, more so this, no, it's very, very common in all ages and whatever gender you feel you are as well, because that's really important as well now. Of course it is. So, you know, you could be a male but feel as if you're in a female body. You feel female, so that too is definitely part of this as well. So this video today is about self-harm. Horrible, isn't it, the word self-harm? And but I guess, what other words would you use? What is self-harm? How does it occur? And how do we tackle it? How do we get over self-harm? What I realized when sat with clients and simply listened to them, that was one aspect. And then there's another aspect of the client understanding why they self-harm. And then there's the final aspect, which for me is the most powerful one, and that is healing. I found that at least 90%, maybe 95% of my clients healed through this, through the art of healing, which is called energy healing. Energy healing is an amazing system that clears what doctors can't clear, or psychologists, they can't clear it. It's okay coming to a realization of why you may have done it, but then you need to clear that energy from within. And it's not always the case. A lot of the times it is, but not always. This is why I have to be careful here, that when you understand something, you can clear it. You have to, when you understand what it is and how this has happened and why it's happened, then you have to accept it, let it go, and work on letting it go. Now, if you have a healing session, you find that the letting go is done automatically because the healer finds the root cause and heals that and clears it away. So the combination of all of those things work really well, and that's why I think I did pretty good when I was a practitioner. People used to say, my daughter was in pain for 3 years, my daughter was in pain for 10 or 15 years, came to you and then had a healing session and a psychic reading And then they were fine. You could see the improvement from that moment on, and they needn't have gone to another psychiatrist. I mean, I've got lots of testimonials of people spending literally $50,000 in America on ongoing 3 years psychiatric work with the top psychiatrists, and then one healing session with me. I actually found the root cause, knew what it was, and how to get over. And I've got to say, there is something in this that, you know, I've got to put forward as well. When you are a spiritual reader, you are able to communicate with maybe someone who did something to you, who may have moved into the light, or you can connect to their energy and know why they did it. So then you can give information to that beautiful soul, and they then feel relieved because they realize it wasn't them, it wasn't personal. So I think the reading aspect was really important as well, knowing why it happened and why the other person may have done something. Okay, so I'm not telling you to go anywhere and do anything. I'm just giving you my experience and what happened to me and how I was able to help the client help themselves, because in truth, only in the end, it's only you who can fix yourself, nobody else. You can go to somebody and they can lead you to the right words, they can lead you to the right experience, they can lead you to the right understanding, they can lead you to the answer, but then from there it's up to you whether you decide to heal yourself. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And the Buddha was absolutely right, and I think that's something you need to think about as well if you are somebody who lives in this frustration energy. I called it frustration. The reason why is because when we self-harm, it's a build-up of something within us that we cannot release, we cannot vent, we can't get it out. So what we do is we hurt ourselves. So if you imagine a little child gets very angry and starts screaming and gets a tantrum. Do you know why that is? Because the child cannot express themselves in a way that anybody understands. Therefore, they scream and get upset. So you might point at a child and say, what a brat. Whereas actually that child isn't a brat. It's everybody around them who doesn't understand that child. And thus the child is so frustrated that it screams, or the other things a child can do is pull its hair. That's the first sign of self-harm or frustration. I'd love to take the word self-harm away and turn it to another word, because it is generally frustration. It's a cry for help. That's all it is. And the problem is most people are not there to help, and it's not their fault. We can't blame mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, partners. We can't blame them because they don't understand. How could they ever understand you? I mean, think about it. Do you actually understand yourself? How do you expect anybody else to understand you if you don't understand yourself? Wake up! So yeah, we self-harm. Have I ever done it? I've done some really silly things. Self-harm doesn't mean that you get a knife and cut yourself. It means loads of things. You self-harm in so many ways. You torture yourself. That's the same thing. You hurt yourself. You call yourself bad names. You don't believe in yourself. You say you're not good enough. All that's self-harm. It's the same thing. Just because you've got a knife or you've got a hammer and you hit yourself over the head and you say, you know, I don't want to be, I hate myself, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful. It's the same thing. It's frustration. Frustration because nobody understands you. So the first point I'd like to make is that if you're looking for somebody out there to understand you, you're walking a very dangerous path, because the chances of you finding anybody understanding you is very slim. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that because the pain and suffering that you've been through, and whatever that is, whether it's a mother who treated you really awful and never believed in you and didn't take you to dancing lessons or music lessons or whatever it was that you wanted to do because she said she couldn't afford or she didn't have time, whether it was a father who who was in the army who just knew only one thing, that was abuse and hurt, and you were abused physically or emotionally by a parent or an uncle. Whether it's you met somebody that you thought you loved and all of a sudden he went cuckoo and then started taking advantage of you and you said no, and we then call this rape. Or you met a stranger and the stranger abused you physically or emotionally. Whatever it is, all of these things that happen to us, and I just want you to know that I'm like you. I've been through all what you've been through, probably more, and I'm still smiling. So you can heal from this, right? But you've got to understand why. And it always comes down to one thing that most people don't want to hear. They don't want to hear it at all. And the reason why they don't want to hear it is because they can't possibly believe that this could be. It's impossible. It's in fact, you'd probably want to slap me across the face. You'll be so angry. But here's the thing. Why do you think you are on this world and this planet? Do you think it's just by accident that your mum and dad had sex and then you came into this world and everything that happens that you see around you, you want? Like, I want that nice car, I want that nice house, I want to be treated lovely, I want that perfect boyfriend, I want to have a lovely life and children, and they all want to be perfect, 2 arms, 2 legs and healthy, and I want all of those things, and if I don't get them, then I'm not happy. Life isn't about that, okay? Life isn't about that. Coming to this world is something extremely powerful. Far more powerful than just doing what you do, which is eating, drinking, sleeping and working. Far more than what you think. It really is. And when I realised that there was something more in this world that was happening, something that I couldn't see but I recognised and I could feel, I started walking a path of enlightenment, awakening. I was asleep before, and everything that I'm saying to you now, if I'd have listened to me 20 years ago, I'd have said this guy's a nutter. But I started to open up and realise there's really something in this work. So I met the shamans, I met the gurus, I met many different amazing souls. And I started seeing things that I've never seen before. And I started to connect to otherworldly places, the veil between our two worlds. And I'm coming somewhere here, so bear with me. I remember sat down crying really bad, and I didn't understand why I went through such trauma at one point. And all of a sudden, I heard my mother speak to me in the spirit world, and it went something like this: the stronger you are, the more you go through. The more you go through, the more stronger you are. And I said, why? The experience you go through helps you understand who you are. Why? To be able to see how you cope with every single experience. But why? To be able to use that knowledge and help others along their journey. Thus we go through pain, suffering, joy, happiness. We experience those things, and one day we look back as we move back into the light, when we go home, and we ask ourselves, how did I react? And how did I do on that journey? Did I feel enough? Did I understand that experience? And most of all, did I overcome it with grace, with love, with compassion? So it wasn't bad luck. No, Mark, it wasn't bad luck. Okay. So it wasn't karma. No, Mark, it wasn't karma. So I'm not cursed. No, you're not cursed. You're actually really powerful. You are a warrior. So what you're saying is everybody who has been through physical abuse, everybody who's been in a car accident, anybody who can't walk anymore, anybody who has had their child taken from this world, anybody who's lost their partner to cancer or their mum and dad to cancer, they're actually powerful. Exactly. Only those who go through such pain and suffering are the ones who are ready to be the lighthouses and the warriors. Okay? So everybody who's been through the most terrible pain, they're the ones who are the most powerful people in the world. Yes, when you are in the spirit world, everything is as it should be. It's pure, it's love, it's balance, it's harmony, it's everything that you can imagine 1,000 times more. So why come here? Because in the spirit world, you do not experience any of those earthly things. You are just as one in pure love. So we come here to experience things depending on how strong we are. So you're saying that I wanted to experience you as a loving mum, but I also wanted to have an abusive dad who'd beat me every day. Yes. So I got abused when I was young. I asked for that. Exactly. And those times that I got beat up all the way through school by my bully, I asked for that. Exactly. And the marriage that I went through, the person that I loved, and then we had a baby, and then we split up, and I never saw my baby much after that, and my wife, and exactly. Okay. Let me try and get my head around that. You're saying that everything that I've been through, I asked to experience. Yes, Mark, that lady there. Everything that we have been through, she told me, is what we chose before we came here. Mark, yeah? How did you do? I ran away. And what do you do now? Today, I still think I run away a lot. So what do you need to do? I need to face up to what I need to face up to and be stronger than what I run away from. Exactly, Mark. Do you still love your father? Of course I do. He's my dad. He was abusive and horrible, but there were some really nice sides to him that I could see deep inside him. So, you learned to let the pain go and the suffering go? Yeah, I did, because I know it wasn't him who did it. It was his anger, the demons within him. But the real dad was actually probably quite loving inside and wanted to do his best, but hated his life and took it out on everybody else. So you actually forgave him? Yes, I did, Mum. I forgave him. I remember just as he was dying, and I rung him up a few weeks prior, and I said, "Hi, Dad," and he didn't even know who I was. And I said, "I love you." And he said, "Oh, okay, Mark, bye." And I did it for me because I realised that in this world that I'm living in and now understanding more than what I ever understood from chasing my tail like a dog paying the bills, trying to live and clean up, and my brothers and sisters not doing what they should do, and being, all of that was nonsense. Exactly, Mark. Meaningless. So what is meaningful, Mark? Good question, Mum. What is meaningful? I think to live in peace. Right. And how are you going to do that, Mark? I think the only way I can live in peace is forgive everybody. And now that you've told me that, actually, I asked for all this to happen, maybe it's time for me to be stronger today and not inflict pain on myself and maybe accept that pain that was inflicted on me at the time, to say, okay, that was my test, and now it's my time to prove myself through the tests and experiences I've been through. Good. Now you're seeing it. So I guess I need to work on me now. I guess I need to start forgiving and really mean it. Forgive them. Forgive them all. Forgive the people who abuse me. Forgive them. It's not their fault. Because ultimately it was me who asked them to come and do these things. You know, guys, it sounds really bizarre, and you've probably either left or you're still here wondering whether this is crazy or whether it's real. I met a really wonderful lady who was filled with anger and bitterness, and still I was there. She helped me as I helped her. It was a dual thing. She was one of my mentors. And then when I decided to come away from that experience, I had 3 years of pain and suffering, of scandal and being called all sorts of things by her, and spells, and things happened, or they tried to happen, and I realised all of that pain for them 3 years, what it caused me and my family. Real pain, real suffering. I mean, it was really bad, really bad. People would come into a psychic show that I was doing and try to strangle me because she influenced them to hurt me because she was very powerful. It was really bad, really bad. I mean, that's just nothing compared to what happened. When this lady was moving into the light, I was in bed, and I said to my wife then, when we were married, I said, I can feel her moving into the light. The next day I got a message, and a lady said, do you realise so-and-so's died? I said, I felt her last night. What I didn't really share with everybody until a few years ago was the most important thing, that my mum, what she said to me made sense, because even when my mum speaks, it's like I'm still, is it true, isn't it? I don't believe it. I've got to, I'm like, I'm not just believing everything. It's like, okay, it's got to feel right. So I listened to my mum, and yeah, I believed her, but I still had doubts, as you do. And like, when this woman moved into the light, who was one of my mentors, do you know what happened? The connection that I felt when she came forward from moving into the light and coming next to me was I can only describe it as a best friend. And it was like we just hugged, and the only thing was coming out of my mouth was, I had tears in my eyes, and I was saying, thank you for doing that. So my mind was confused, but my spirit knew exactly what was happening. And all of a sudden, my mind kicked into, as it should do, understanding. And I went, oh my God. It was revealed to me at that moment that even my worst enemy was my best friend in the spirit world. I know that's hard for you to accept, that if somebody's ever abused you, how can they be your best friend? But it's true. Because once you leave this world, doesn't it make sense that when you go home to everything as it should be, peaceful, love and compassion, that you would ask your best friend to do something so challenging that you would only want your best friend to do it? Because when you went back there, you would understand everything. My God, I get it now. But then you would ask yourself, but how did I do? How did I do? Now that you're back home and everything's perfect and all filled with love and perfection, and you are infinite awareness of love and compassion. You are everything. I'm sure you'd ask yourself, how did I do when I was down there? So ultimately, I think what I'm trying to tell you is that everything that you've been through, the pain and suffering that people have caused you, whether it's somebody who was a complete stranger or somebody who was in your family or somebody who you loved, they are your best friend. Maybe not now and in this world after what they've done, but they are spiritually speaking. And if you can rise above to this way of awareness, this level of true enlightenment, you will heal yourself. You will never hate another single person in this world. And if you don't live in hate, you don't live in frustration, you don't live in anger, you don't live in jealousy, you just know that every single thing that happens to you in this world, whether good or bad, is the experience for you to feel, understand, and grow. How did I react? How did I cope with any situation that made me self-harm? Now, okay, I've experienced that. I didn't do too good. Pain is inevitable, Mark said, but suffering is optional. So now suffering is my option. What do I do with that? Change. Take that away. Forgive. Let it go. They're my best friend. Even though it's difficult for you to say it, they're your best friend. They're your best friend. They were put there to help you. Do you think they wanted to do it? No, they didn't. But they did it because they loved you that much. That is another level. That is another level that no doctor, no self-help would ever tell you, because they are not in tune with our home. They don't understand how the spirit world works. That's why this information is so vital to heal you, and that's why I had such a great track record of healing people, because I can heal the pain away, because it's all as it should be. And you're going to be stronger, and you're going to let them frustrations go, because I'm going to heal you and clear that away, and you're going to bring back in peace in your heart. You're going to bring peace back in your mind. And through that moment on, you're going to grow stronger to be able to then take that experience and help others. Because once you've conquered that experience that you've been through, whether it's once, twice, or all your life, once you understand it, once you get it, and once you've overcome it, only then will the spirit world bring people to you for you to help them along their journey and heal. Because ultimately we all go through these challenges, all of us, nobody's exempt. But isn't it lovely to know that the spirit world is always there, because you ask them to help you bring people into your life to help you at the same time. So the experience isn't always bad things. It's counteracted by earth angels, good people, kind people, always wanting to help you. And they're always there. And you may feel that you're alone, but you know what? You're watching this now. And if you think this is just coincidence, then you've got it wrong. Because there's always somebody there to try and help you, whether you know it, whether you choose not to see it, or whether you just don't have a clue. People are put around you. Your eyes are focused on things that are drawing you to healing every day. Your ears are hearing conversations that are drawing you to heal yourself every day. That is bringing balance back into your life. There are times that you don't even know that you're sat with somebody who's healing you. They're giving you self-healing. They're healing you to heal yourself. That's why there's many times you'll sit with people, and sometimes strangers, and feel better. Sometimes you'll just sit down having a coffee and listen to the right piece of music that brings you up, or reminds you of something lovely. So there is a point that you can talk about the pain and suffering. There is a point that you can talk to yourself about your experiences and why you self-harm. But ultimately, the bigger picture is what I've just described. And that once you get the bigger picture, everything else will dissolve and disappear and never affect you for the rest of your life. It's that simple. So this is my truth through a decade and a half of working with children, teenagers, adults who have gone through this, to seeing it disappear and never coming back, and actually creating the most powerful lighthouse and warrior in the world. And that's who you are, and that's why you're watching this. So on a final note, you are no different from anybody else. Whether you cut yourself, whether you beat yourself, whether you put tablets in your mouth, whether you abuse yourself, whether you abuse others, it's all self-harm. And we all go through it. So you're not different. You're not labeled. You are like everybody else. And your actions of what you do may be slightly different from other people's because you are unique. You're different. Nobody does what you do. And that's what makes you beautiful. So laugh about what you did. Get stronger and say, yeah, I used to do that. And laugh about it. Don't cry about it. Laugh about it. Because now you know. And now that you know, you can let it go. You can heal. You can get stronger. And you can overcome this so easily. You are your answer. There is nobody who can fix you but you. And I know you can do it. And the reason why I know you can fix yourself today is because you're watching this. And your family in the spirit world brought you here to listen to these words. So from my heart to your heart, make today the first day of the rest of your life filled with love, letting go, no more frustration. And when it does, kick it in the butt and say, nope, no more. Smile and grow. Be aware of your actions and grow. Never be frightened of looking at yourself and questioning why you did that. Never be frightened of looking at your actions. They're not weaknesses, they're experiences. And every knee-jerk is an experience, is a reaction, is an action to a reaction. And the reaction is, what did I just hear then? What did I just feel inside me? Okay, I need to let that go. I need to forgive it and let it go. I need to grow stronger from that. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Let go and watch yourself grow and live the happiest life. Waking up in the morning and being happy for no reason. That is ultimately the goal of all of us, for sure. I hope this video helped a little bit. And really and truly, there are beautiful healers out there in the world. Amazing healers. My name is Bajerski and I am the founder of Pure Energy Healing Academy worldwide. We have a course right now coming up in January. And that is a 4-day online course and interactive. So I'll be online too for at least twice to be able to talk to you through certain things. And there's videos that you're going to watch. And if you want to learn the art of healing, self-healing, this is a perfect opportunity. And if not, you can always go to the Pure Energy Healing Academy. Type on the top bar or just press Practitioners. Click on there. Just scroll down and have a look. See if there's any practitioners that live near you. Give them a call and say, you know what? I'm tired of feeling like this. I think I'd like a pure energy healing. And they know exactly where to heal the root cause. So from my heart to your heart, have a beautiful day. And remember, these hands are the answer to healing. Take care.